Welcome to a new installment of Social Wavelength Conversations brought to you by socialwavelength.com. Join us for a chat full of rich digital and social media insights from the industry. Let's connect with our hosts Sanjay Mehta and Mihir Karkare for an exciting foray into the world of social media.
Hi, one more episode of Social Wavelength Conversations. With me is Mihir.
And Sanjay.
Hi. And today's topic is going to be social media listening or social media monitoring, as it's also been called. And Mihir definitely leads the practice at Social Wavelength, and I'll have him to introduce the whole concept. What is social media listening?
Right. Great. Thanks, Sanjay. So, like Sanjay mentioned, we're going to talk about social listening today. And what's happening is that social media as a phenomena has been it's been great to give people a platform to express themselves. And what this has led to is that there are literally millions and millions of people doing tens of millions of conversations online on a daily basis. Yeah. Right? This is, of course, I'm talking only India. And a lot of those conversations are conversations that are directly related to a brand or a product or a service, or related to a specific category, or even if they are not directly related to a brand or a product or a category, they are being done by consumers who are definitely relevant to that brand or category. Right. So listening is essentially the practice of looking at these conversations and trying to derive some sort of meaning or some sort of actionability from these conversations.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, sorry.
No, so in fact, the one might even wonder that do people talk so much about brands? So it's not like I'm online and I want to now tell what happened with this brand and that brand. I'm just talking about my day, right? Beyond the point, how much philosophy can you talk about anyway, right? So finally, what it boils down to, your communication on whatever platform, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or whatever, is your day, your experience, your life. Now, the reason why brands come into the picture is that our life today is full of brands. Right. I mean, if I'm traveling to Delhi, I say, I took this Indigo flight and the food was not so good this time and the landing was okay. But then I got out and, there was no Ola available, so I had to take a Meru. And then I went and I had a meeting at the Cafe Coffee Day and, the AC was not working or this or that. So I'm not really talking about Cafe Coffee Day or Meru or Ola or Indigo. Right. They just happen to come into conversation in context because that's my day. So that's the fact. The other is, when we started in 2009 as Social Wavelength, from those days we have been talking to brands saying, listen first and then talk. So do social media monitoring, then go and talk on Facebook, etc. Except that they never listen to us.
Right.
So we're talking about social media listening, they nod their heads and then they don't listen to us. They went ahead and with their Facebook page. But today things have changed. So what's changed from 2009 to 2015 is that we have now reached upwards of 250 million people on the internet in India, upwards of 100 million on social media platforms, and these are the cream of the consumers who consume, all your FMCG and all sorts of products, and they're sharing their experiences on insurance and airlines and banking and vehicles and everything. And as brands, as companies, today you're left with no choice because all of your key customers are talking on these platforms. So listening has become completely imperative. So today we find, as a part of our business, we get increasing requirements of clients who want to listen, which is very refreshing for us. Finally, they are listening.
That's right. And, literally as well as figuratively, finally they're listening.
They're listening to us and they're listening to social media.
Yeah. So, listening really, it powers, just to make it extremely simple, it powers two things. One is it allows you to either identify and take action on actionable cases, or it gives you meaning. So, which means it may not be actionable right away, but it's giving you a deeper understanding of what's happening. So when I say actionability, what it could mean is that there are consumers that are they have a query about something that you can answer, they have a request that you could fulfill, they have a complaint that you need to address, or they are talking about something which could lead to a sale for you. And So while you need to set up this entire protocol and set up this entire process of dealing with these actionable cases. So actionability is one kind of bucket of things that can happen, and the other is deriving meaning. So what are these people saying? What are the sentiments that they are expressing, not just about your brand, but various aspects of your brand. So the CCD could have great coffee, but the AC in the CCD is not working, right? So there are different aspects. What are they talking about? What are the words that are being used associated with your brand or your product? What are the consumers in your TG talking about in general? So when they're not talking about your brand and product, what is on top of mind, right? So all of these things come in the second bucket, which is deriving meaning. And every brand today has to be using listening for both of these. I mean, if as a brand you're not doing this, I will kind of put a stake in the ground and say you are at a significant competitive disadvantage compared to all your competitors who are doing this.
Day after day after day, at a broad level, I'm going to hear the same stories that, so many people will be happy with my product, some of them will be unhappy, some of them will be concerned. So I know the story, and, as a brand, I cannot perhaps handle each and every case because, do what you want, somebody will be dissatisfied. Now that would be a very resigned state to be in. And, if you're listening, we're not necessarily saying that, especially let's say you're a telecom operator, and your transaction value with each customer could be really, really small, and you could be having millions of customers. So we are not necessarily saying that go out and go after every guy who said something negative and do something about it. But really, listening and the value that you derive out of it is completely dependent on your imagination, in the sense how you want to listen, because they are telling you various stories. So over time, do you see, so you may not necessarily address every complaint which comes, but over time, do you see numbers and percentages shift? Are the people who were talking positive about you as a percentage of all the people who are talking about you going down, going up? Is it changing for your competitor? You can as much listen about your own self as you can listen about a competitive brand, because it's fair play, it's out there. Nothing is stopping you, you're not intruding, it's just there to listen. So deriving very simple metrics of those kinds, or going deeper, like saying that your consumer is talking, you're going to go and create the next television ad, you're going to spend a few crores out there. Do you really know what that consumer is all about? What are his likes, dislikes, what is he connecting with? Now, understanding that may enable you to create your next marketing communication really very, very well focused. You could derive business intelligence by listening. You can derive market research. You can say that, really what your next product should be like, what people really want. I mean, it's clearly dependent on how you conceive a listening opportunity, how you create a solution around it, and go and implement it.
No, absolutely. I think it all starts there, trying to open up your mind and figure out what are the various ways in which listening can help you, and pretty much whoever you are, whichever category you belong to, whether you're B2B, B2C, there's clear value that can be derived, right? So if you're listening to us, I'd suggest think about how social media listening can help you. Reach out to us, we'll be happy to help you.
Maybe two small quick points before we close. One is, so the most common two uses of listening, while I talked about business intelligence and market research and all that, to define two simple uses, one is what we refer to as social CRM, right? So it's like how you have your, call centers set up for CRM. You get people, you're a bank, you get people calling in and responding. Today people are going on to Facebook and Twitter and other places and writing about you. And as a part of CRM, you need to implement social CRM. As a part of CRM, if you're having a 24/7 call center, it's time for you to think 24/7 social CRM. It doesn't happen 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, because your customers are active at various times of the day and on weekends as well. And if they complain on Friday evening at 8 o'clock and they're going to receive a response on Monday at 11 o'clock, it's not going to be liked by them. So that's one part, social CRM. The other is what is known as an online reputation management. It's a free space out there. Somebody could go and keep spewing insults about you or negative stuff about you. It may be completely motivated. You don't want to be surprised by an attack of that kind. You want to be listening and finding out if something like that is happening so that you can then take the next action. So social CRM and ORM are two big users of listening. And one last point is a concept which we introduced is called virtual ethnography. It's also an element of listening. Ethnography in its traditional sense was about embedding yourself in your consumers' community and seeing what they are doing all day long. How their life evolves, how the behavior happens. Today, a lot of consumers' behavior is manifested on social platform, and that allows you to virtually, unfortunately, it's a bad word in sense of trolling, but it's legal stuff. By just seeing what people are doing and putting it together, you are kind of understanding your consumer, and it's a virtual ethnography exercise, which is ethnography done at scale across the country into various communities, various sub-segments of your demography. You are able to do that. So really, really interesting opportunities through social media listening, right?
Right, great, absolutely. And virtual ethnography, in fact, is something that we're doing more and more for clients. And the first time you see it, you're surprised at how rich a picture of your consumers you can paint using these techniques. Great. So I think thanks for listening in, and happy to get feedback and questions. Until next time.